Good evening and welcome to the first of two meetings tonight. My name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove. And at this time, we will convene our Board of Sanitation meeting for Monday, August the 17th, 2015. In lieu of a roll call, I will ask each participant to introduce themselves, beginning on my far right.
Ed Bell.
Dan McMillan, Clerk Treasurer.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Sandy Seward.
Thank you, Board. You have been presented a printed copy of the minutes of the previous meeting dated August 3rd, 2015. Floor is open for questions, comments, or corrections.
I have none.
I have none this evening.
No questions, comments, or corrections. I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye and the motion carries. Thank you. Tonight we have 4 pages of wastewater claims in the amount of $91,409.35. Floor is open for questions or comments.
I have none.
I have none.
No questions or comments. I'll ask for a motion to approve the wastewater claims dated August 17th, 2015 in the amount of $91,409.35.
Good motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye and the motion carries. Under unfinished business carried over from the previous meeting, we were going to discuss South Fifth Street again. Craig, do you have any additional comments before I make a recommendation?
I do not.
And board members, do you have any comments?
I do not.
Okay. Based on what was presented to me by the city attorney, my recommendation to this board is not to pay any claim with the exception of the one for hazmat for the folks that live on the corner.
And nothing for the other 2 residents.
Nothing for, no other payment for any lost equipment or anything. I will recommend we pay for the hazmat cleanup of these folks' house here on the corner.
And that's the only thing that we're,
That would be my recommendation to this board. Counselors? Board members?
How did you arrive at that? Just because of the pure nature of the cleanup on that one?
Well, a couple things led me to it. Is every time we have a claim, we go out and we look at the sewers to make sure it wasn't our responsibility. And all of these claims that have been filed with our insurance company have not been payable. And these 3 claims that we have are not payable as well, according to our insurance company. So that was one reason. And another reason is I just think we should resolve this hazmat issue with these folks, and then that would be the only thing that we would consider.
so that's just the cleanup only. It's not replacing furnaces and washers and dryers and,
Or clothing or anything like that.
hazmat only.
Yes. For her hazmat, the people on the corner. And that would be the claim that was given to the Public Works Director. That's my recommendation. The board, I want, you have plenty of say, and your thoughts are welcome as well.
I guess I'm just a little confused because last time we talked, we were gonna pay a little bit more than just that, and now we're not. So I guess I'm just kinda confused why we didn't go the route that we talked about.
I think the attorney made a recommendation.
Okay.
Is that accurate?
Right, I made my recommendation at the last board meeting. That was my recommendation. But, you know, the mayor does bring up some good points. But
Okay. And Dan, I think also at the last meeting, you also were concerned where were those funds gonna come from, because we didn't really have those funds to pay that, so.
I'm still concerned on where they're gonna come from. And I guess my comment on this is, Craig, I know you've seen this, the one on Main Street that their insurance paid them off and now they're coming after
subrogation claims.
the city for other claims. And these are all additional claims other than Fifth Street that have been denied by the insurance company. And so I don't know. I guess my concern is whatever we pay, are we opening the floodgates?
That makes sense.
It does.
I don't see us paying for lost time,
No.
appliances or heating units or stuff like that. I don't think we can. But I do feel like cleaning up a hazmat incident, that we might have some culpability in, would be somewhat appropriate. So that would be my recommendation.
I'll follow that recommendation.
So I need a motion to approve that.
I'll make said motion.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And Brad, if you could, do you have that invoice that you could submit?
I never got one, okay, yeah.
Okay. All right, and we'll leave it at that. All right. Thank you, Board. We have no new business this evening. Any miscellaneous business, including any matters not already considered. Comments from board members?
I have none.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Make said motion.
Meeting is adjourned at 6:05 PM. We will convene Board of Works in 5 minutes. Good evening and welcome to the second and final meeting tonight. My name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove, and at this time we will convene our Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for Monday, August the 17th, 2015. In lieu of a roll call, I will ask each participant to introduce themselves, beginning on my far right.
Ed Bell.
Dan McMillan, Clerk Treasurer.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Sandy Seward.
Thank you, Board. You have been presented a printed copy of the minutes of the previous meeting. The floor is open for questions, comments, or corrections.
I do have a couple questions, please. Dan, page 23.
Oh, wait a minute.
We're
We're
on
just
the
doing
minutes.
minutes.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, I did jump, sorry. Sorry. I have no corrections or comments.
No corrections or
Sorry.
comments. I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Tonight, Board, you have been presented 30 pages of claims, corporate claims, in the amount of $761,119.67. Floor is open for questions or comments.
Hey, Dan.
All right. I'm on 23. Go ahead.
Page 23. But the fourth one from the bottom for LTD. Do we always mow Holy Names property?
We have, ever since LTD has been doing
Okay.
this.
Okay.
I've questioned that before too, along with some other ones, and I was always told that that was kind of a trade-off on the parks, on what they do for different programs and stuff. Someone else might be able to explain that better, but
Brad, did the Parks Department used to cut it
Yeah, for as long as I.
forever, as long as I could ever
Practice
remember, they
built
cut it,
up on 16,
in exchange to letting people practice there.
correct.
Beech Grove people, right? Beech Grove, okay. And I do have one other question. On page 27. Dan, it's the fourth one from the top. From global government. in the amount of $1,490.
That is a new computer for the new part-time clerk in the court. And that goes through Lynn, and I end up with the bill. And other than that, it
Okay.
comes out of the court budget, and they've got money to do it, so.
Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Ed, any questions or comments?
I have none, sir, tonight.
No further questions or comments. I'll ask for a motion to approve the corporate claims dated August 17, 2015, in the amount of $761,119.67.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you. Under unfinished business, carried over from the previous meeting, quote award for the sewer lining project. And I'll call Brent Siebenthal to the podium, please. Good evening, Brent.
Thank you and good evening. I'd like to read a letter to the board, dear board members. On behalf of the City of Beech Grove, quotes for the 2015 sanitary sewer rehabilitation project were received at 6 p.m. on August 3rd, 2015 at the council chambers, City Hall, 806 Main Street, Beech Grove, Indiana. Each of the sealed quotes was opened and read aloud. 3 contractors were contacted on July the 7th, 2015, and provided with quote packages to submit quotes for the above-mentioned project. 2 quotes were received. Lane and Liner, LLC, submitted a conditional quote based upon being allowed to complete the work during calendar year 2016, which does not coincide with the contract schedule. The contractors' respective quote amounts are as follows. Miller Pipeline, base unit price quote, $110,565, and the mandatory add alternate price quote, $24,930. Lane and Liner, base unit price quote, $183,000, and mandatory add alternate price quote, $36,405. The engineer's estimate for this project was $146,475 for the base quote and $32,790 for the add alternate quote. Wessler Engineering has worked with Miller Pipeline in the past on cured-in-place pipe projects, and I should mention specifically in the city of Beech Grove, and they have performed satisfactorily. Pursuant to the contract documents, the board may reject any and all quotes or accept any quote as may be the lowest responsive and responsible contractor. The board may also award both the base and the add alternate quote because the total amount falls below the threshold for publicly bidding a project. That would be Miller Pipeline's base quote and mandatory add alternate quote. We were extremely pleased with the pricing provided by Miller Pipeline, and our suggestion would be that the board proceed with issuing a notice of award to Miller Pipeline for both the base unit price quote and also the mandatory add alternate quote work. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Brent, I do have a question. Can you explain the mandatory add alternate? What
Okay,
is
so that is an alternate in which we put that in there because we're not sure if the pricing on the work is going to be such that it'll all fall under that $150,000 amount. So we put the requirement in there that the contractor has to give us a quote for this part of the project, and then also if the pricing comes in good enough for this other part of the project as well. And what it worked out in this situation where the pricing came in below that $150,000 public bid threshold. That's why we do it that way. It provides a little more flexibility. If the pricing comes in really good, you can add some more work to the project.
Okay. Thank you.
Ed, any questions?
Well, I'm just amazed too how it's considerably less.
A lot of it's
Any
timing. A lot of it's timing.
Okay.
Miller does specialize in these smaller diameter sewers. The methods that they employ, the steam inversion to install these liners, they can get them in fairly quickly. This is their specialty, and just good timing.
Good for us, then.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. If there's no other questions or comments, I'll ask for a motion to accept the bid from, or the quote from Miller Pipeline, not to exceed $150,000.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries.
And there are notice of awards for the board to execute.
You step forward.
Brent, when will this project start?
So we will go ahead and send out the notice of award to Miller Pipeline tomorrow, as well as the request for them to execute the construction documents and to get us the bonds and insurance. We will present everything to the board at the next Board of Works meeting in September, and at that time ask for the Board of Works to approve the construction contract, the construction agreement, as well as issue a notice to proceed with Miller Pipeline. Once that notice to proceed is issued, they have about 2 weeks to get started. And I've already checked with the contractor, that schedule works out good for them.
Okay. It's
So,
gonna happen yet this year.
mid-September.
Okay.
Mid-September, and I would anticipate they'll be in and out in 30 to 45 days.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brent.
Appreciate it.
That concludes unfinished business. New business, including introduction of resolutions, contracts, and other business. The first order of business this evening, under new business, is a request for a block party. And I'll defer to the clerk to read the request into the record.
Mayor Buckley, second annual block party. Dear Mayor, it's that time of year once again. We would like permission once again to block off our street, South 6th, from Alton to Main. This would be on Sunday, September the 6th, which is Labor Day weekend, noon to 10 p.m. If you have any questions, please let me know. Sincerely, Kimberly Sturm.
Questions or comments from board members?
You know, on these things, I always look at, Chief, do you have any issues with it?
As long as it's south of the alley, I think that would be good, not close the alley outside.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Nope.
Ask for a motion to approve the request for a block party on South 6th from the alley south of Main to Alton.
I'll make said
And
motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye. Next up on the agenda is a request for Beech Grove High School Homecoming Parade on 9/11/2015.
The Beech Grove High School Student Council would like to request permission for the 2015 Beech Grove High School Homecoming Parade to be held September the 11th. We would like to continue the tradition with the parade beginning at 5:15 p.m. at the parking lot of Beech Grove Middle School. The route will cover Main Street and will end at 4th Street. We expect the parade to finish at approximately 6:15.
Thank you, Clerk. A question, or the floor is open for questions or comments.
Mark? Do you have any issues?
No issues, we usually assign officers to help with that. We might have a problem with it prior.
Thanks.
No questions or comments, I'll ask for a motion to approve the request from Beech Grove High School to hold their annual homecoming parade on 9/11/15.
I'll make said motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Next order of business is the approval to proceed with hiring 2 police officers, and I ask the clerk to read the request into the record.
New officer hire. I am requesting permission to proceed with the hiring process of 2 police officers. We would like to hire 2. One would replace Captain Stevens, who plans on retiring. The other would be an additional officer for the department. Thank you for your consideration, Chief Swartz.
Chief, I know that you've been working with the clerk on making sure that financially we can do this, so can you give us the game plan between now and the first of the year?
What we'd like to do is continue with our process. We have a couple of officers that we would like to send to our physical and psychological evaluation if the board approves it. And I do not know how long it takes them to do that at all. It's their schedule. And then once we do that, it'll probably be sometime in October before we could even offer these people a true job. And the clerk said that we had money in the budget to do that. I don't think that we have enough money to start early. I think the later that we can do. And we couldn't get anybody into the academy until sometime in November. They haven't posted their date, but This academy class gets out the first week of November, and they usually start the next week.
And now, for the public who might be watching this, one position is a replacement,
Yes,
and for Officer Stevens, is that right?
yes,
And the second one is an additional employee.
correct. Will bring us up to 32 officers.
Questions or comments from the board?
How soon will Captain Stevens be retiring?
He has a retirement date in March
Okay.
of 2016.
And Mark, I got a couple of questions. One, I think it's great that we get to go ahead and proceed with this in this calendar year because this wasn't even, either one supposed to be until next year, so I think that's great. My question would be, do you happen to know off the top of your head how much his buyback would be when he retires?
No, it all depends on how much vacation that he has left. I think that it will be little to none. I think he's using everything up to his retirement date.
Okay. All right, and I think that's all I've got.
Okay. Any further questions or comments from board members?
I have none.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the request from the police chief to begin the process to hire 2 police officers.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thanks, chief.
Thank you.
Next up is a approval to hire part-time employee in Public Works. And I'll ask the clerk to read the request in the record, please.
Dear Board, it is my recommendation to the Board of Works that the city hire Steve Cole as a part-time worker at the Department of Public Works. The parameters of this position will be that it will make no more than $13 per hour and work no more than 29 hours a week. There is money in the sewage works budget to fund this position. If approved, Mr. Cole would start on August 18, 2015.
Thank you. Brad, could you go ahead and give us a update on what's going on out there as far as the process?
Yeah, this is the position that was, well, we had Rodney Giffen that transferred over, and Mitchell Ritchie went full-time to take his position that was vacated, thus creating an opening with our part-time staff. Steve Cole's the gentleman that we're going to bring on. I know I brought somebody on before. That other gentleman had another job as well, and so there were some issues that came up that made that hiring impossible. So we're moving in a different direction, and if approved, we'll look to hire and bring on Mr. Cole actually tomorrow. He's already passed his pre-employment drug test, so he's good to go.
Questions or comments from board members?
I have none.
Have done.
No questions or comments. I'll ask for a motion to approve the request from the Department of Public Works Director to hire Stephen Cole as a part-time worker at DPW.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Thank you, Brad. Thanks. Last order of new business this evening is recycling agreement with Ray's Trash Service. This time I will defer to city legal for recommendation.
Sure, thank you, Mayor. It's a pretty simple contract. It incorporates by reference their response to our request for proposal. We have been demanding a contract with them for several months and just received it, so that was the delay. It wasn't anything that we did, so I think it speaks for itself. My recommendation that would be that the board approve it.
Floor is open for questions or comments.
I have none.
I have none.
My only question is, where is this fee going to be taken out of? Because at the present time, we don't have an area to take it out of.
When we initially met with Ray's, both the mayor and myself, I think we decided we would pull it out of landfill charges, which is where we currently pay for trash.
From when we do the raise, heavy trash and everything, that would come from that
Yeah.
category?
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments from board members?
I have one comment. This is for recycling only. I just want to make that clear.
Yes.
Recycling only. We're not replacing jobs. We're not getting rid of Beech Grove trash service.
No.
This is recycle only.
Recycling.
I mean, that's clear to me, but I've had a few people in the community ask me that if they were just taking over, so.
Yeah, correct.
I got another question. It says public education mailer, $670 per month. Is this something we're going to send mailers out every month on this? Or is that just somewhere where they stuck $670?
No, every 6 months, they are required to provide a mailer citywide to the citizens of Beech Grove on recycling and promoting the environment. So that's the cost to do that. That's part of the agreement. So every 6 months, you will receive a flyer on recycling and the environment.
So does that mean it's incorrect in the contract?
No, it's proper
It says $670 per month.
per month. It costs roughly, if you take that times 12 and divide it in half, that's what it costs to produce and mail a flyer.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for board members?
I have none.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agreement between Ray's Trash Service and the City of Beech Grove for recycling.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you. Brad, thank you. Comments from board members?
None this evening.
I have none.
If not, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second.
The meeting is adjourned at 6:28 PM. We will meet again on Tuesday, September the 8th, 2015. Thank you very much.